And that's a fantastic, each one of you owns a university. That's a fantastic achievement. But I believe the real miracle and revival will happen when individuals, church people, not necessarily religious people, but church people begin to own universities, radio stations, and banks. You say why? Then individual visions given to them by God can be explored. Let's go to Ghana, Ashesi University, owned by an individual, not a church. You say why? Because you can now have different manifestations. And in Ashesi, they focus on economics, on social science. Somebody else can focus on medicine. Why? Because one church cannot serve the whole country. We need to multiply our effects. And that's the paradigm I'm trying to bring to you today. You say, why is this so important? You see, why do I say we're looking in the wrong direction? You see, recently there's a message that there's a topic we did handled in our church called education, something about education, I can't even remember. Yeah, but the only shortcut to success is education. And I remember there's a gentleman who's a mentor of mine, Dr. Tunde Adigbola, began to teach us some very interesting principles. And one of the things he said is this. He said, the objectives of universities in developed countries is extending the frontiers of knowledge. And that's why in the whole of Africa right now, there's almost nobody creating a vaccine for the virus, because we're not equipped for it. He said, however, in developing countries, it is turning existing knowledge into skills and practice. In other words, the challenges we're facing on our continent is different from the challenges they're facing in Europe. We don't have internet services. We can't get to the village. Most schools in Nigeria can't make the transition to online training simply because we've not even had the basic things taught to us. So you've got to understand that it's the same thing that's happening in the church. What we're supposed to do is different from what we're doing. And many times we just take a copy of somewhere and just replace it and copy it. And so we began to do the lockdowns that the UK was doing and so on and so forth. And I'm not criticizing all that. But what I'm trying to say to you is, we have to look at the people God has sent us to and how he equipped them and prepared them for this particular job. Let me I don't know whether I'm putting myself into trouble, but where am I going with all this? We've got to understand, and this is where you and I, we have a job to do. We have to reach the world. But it's not just us. Everybody has to reach the world. Some people can reach their family. Some people can reach their relatives. Some people can reach their staff. Some people can reach their neighbor. But this model that we're using right now is not going to be that effective. Now look at what has happened now. We're all shut down. No churches are opening doors. Are you saying that ministry is not going on? It's going on. But because we've not equipped our people to be able to do ministry where they find themselves, we're struggling to be effective. And that's the reason why I thought maybe it's time for this kind of a book to come. The Bible says the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestations of the Son of God. That is Romans chapter 8 verse 19. I need to know how many minutes I have now. We're 10 minutes, I think, yeah. It says the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. And it says, it actually says, it is groaning in Romans chapter 8 verse 22. It's crying, it's suffering, it's dissatisfied. And you can see what's happening in the world right now. We're dissatisfied. We're angry. And here in Nigeria, we have only had 50, 60, 70,000 tests. We don't know how far the spread is. We have no medical centers. Our solution centers are overrun in terms of the fact that we don't have enough beds if they actually have the details of people who are actually infected by this disease. A few days ago, I still saw 2-3 people on a motorbike in this city. And we're supposed to be under some sort of educated quarantine. The whole earth is lying in travail. What is it waiting for? What is it waiting for? The Bible says the earnest expectation of creature waited for this manifestation of the sons of God. He didn't say it's waiting for preachers. He didn't say it's waiting for churches. He didn't say so. It says waiting for the manifestation. Remember I told you that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son? But if you go to Romans chapter 8 verse 14, it says, for as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. For as many as are led, not as many preachers, not as many pastors, not as many evangelists, for as many. Many years ago, I had the privilege of hosting Dr. Miles Monroe, and he taught this very interesting service in my church. I was pastor of Jesus Embassy there. And then after he finished, the lady got up and said, he was talking about gifts and calling, and the lady got up and said, Dr. Monroe, I have a problem. You've been talking about gifts and calling since. The only thing I know how to do is cook. And he said, who gave you the gift? God. He says, who told you that somebody who has the ability to cook and the person who has the ability to preach, one is better than the other? And that's the paradigm we need to make. It's not. It's the fact that we are called. We're just differently called. A lot of people are going to be uncomfortable about what I'm saying right now simply because their mindset. You know what's happening in America, George Floyd and all that. I was thinking about it a few days ago. And I thought to myself, do you know some black people inherently just hate white people? They have no reason for it. A lot of white people just inherently hate black people. Not because of anything they've done, because they've been programmed to do that. Hate is taught. and so you got to understand where I'm going with this. It says, as many as are led. Now, if you are led by the Spirit, you will get over racism and so on and so forth. But let me not get off point. For as many as are led by the Spirit, they are the sons of God. But let's take that back and go back to the whole world lieth in travail, waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God. We can simply say this: for the whole world lieth in travail, groaning, waiting for those who are led by the Spirit. Now, I didn't tell you in church, an engineer, somebody to create vaccines, somebody to find solutions to this crisis, somebody to cure disease.